Hey, I'm Vince, nutritional therapist and owner of one of the largest health coaching companies in the U.S., Nutrition Dynamic. I've dedicated my life to changing lives and impacting global health. Millions of people every year get sick from preventable diseases. As the medical industry grows, global health declines, telling us we have to try another way. To show you how to do that, I've decided to pack my life up and hit the road to meet real people with life-changing stories. Let's go. All right, let's go up. Let's go meet Brett.
Hey! How are you?
Sorry, it's like cramp back there.
Hi, I'm Brett. I'll give you a hug. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Vance. Nice to finally be here.
During the stages of Brett's program, we first took on Lyme disease. Ticks transmit a bacteria that usually invades the youth or elderly, but is making a big jump in women of all ages under heavy and chronic stress. Lyme is a disease that is rare and insidious. Currently, the CDC reports nearly 300,000 cases in the United States, but they note there could be thousands more who don't know it. Lyme can take many forms and has to be accurately tested by educated practitioners in this field of work, which is currently lacking. Most suffer for months or years before diagnosis. Lyme doesn't just attack your body, it attacks your mind. Rashes, chills, arthritis, fatigue, headaches, lots of confusion, memory loss, and many feel they are going crazy. For Brett, things got complicated after childbirth. The connection of sex hormones and Lyme is still unknown, but common to create estrogen dominance and postpartum depression. That's where functional nutrition steps in. Because of this, Brett's been able to live a normal life. Got it, okay. What we've been working on now is, so once you get about 16 weeks outside of pregnancy, you can really start to utilize certain functional tools. A lot of things don't carry through. Some things carry through the breast milk, but not a lot of things. There's a lot of things you can use now that are healthy. Yep. So we did a deep dive. We did a Dutch urine test on our hormones to look at our cortisol and to see how our hormones were going. Right.
So interesting.
Yeah, right?
I don't even know how to read it.
Yeah.
So him reading it, I was like, I don't
You're
know how
like,
you do
oh my
this.
gosh, it's a whole new world right now.
Like,
I know.
Because the fact that she's losing so quickly and coming back together, we want to make sure that where she comes together at the final point, that her hormones are balanced. Yeah. So many women suffer from different variations of depression and anxiety, suffering maybe what they might classify under postpartum.
Yes.
But if you check hormones right away in cortisol, you can help balance those things naturally, things that are safe that you wouldn't worry about transferring through breast milk, whether you're just using nutrition or some supplementation, and you can restore their hormones very early on. And make sure that women don't suffer through a lot of the different emotional and physical barriers after having a child.
That, like, the hugest thing I have to say too, as of lately, because I felt like I struggle with postpartum depression a lot. But then once we tackled it and did the whole Dutch test, the supplements that I just started on, I mean, it's night and day.
Yes.
So that just goes to show that it wasn't actually like depression. It was just my hormones were out of whack.
It makes us as women feel like we're going crazy.
Yes,
when
and it's so hard
crazy.
and challenging, I felt like, as a mom, because I feel like this should be such a happy time, but your hormones take such a tank after you have a kid.
According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, over 13% of women may experience postpartum depression. Articles published in Johns Hopkins Medicine shows PPD is most likely due to the huge shift in hormones during and post-pregnancy. So we use ingredients like bovine adrenal glandular, ashwagandha, dim, and chasteberry right away to reduce the severity of the fluctuation and reduce symptoms. It's important to eat a high-fat Mediterranean diet with small meals throughout the day to stabilize insulin, as insulin is what converts sex hormones.
After you have a kid, and that was just huge to me, because even just within 2 weeks on a supplement, I can see.
So what are some of the supplements that you put her on? Like,
So
for these changes?
So a couple things. Well, we have to be kind of careful with some of the things that we're using. But right now, we're using Adrena Health.
Yep.
We're also using Cordy's
Yep.
to get you down at night. So
yep.
Because we're using phosphatidylserine, and that's really good for keeping down stress-related water and bloat, and also metabolizing cortisol at night. Because if her cortisol stays too high, you really don't bring back natural hormones. They end up going into your cholesterol, and they don't, because cholesterol either goes into your arteries or turns into hormones essentially. And so by managing cortisol right off the bat, now hormones can start to naturally collect in natural volumes of estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. So for her, her testosterone's not coming back as well as we would like. So we're actually going to use some testosterone replacement therapy. I'm kind of jumping ahead of the gun, if you don't mind me sharing.
Oh,
that.
yeah, go for it.
Which is safe to do at this point that she's this far outside of having a child, and then we're using Blissfora. So we're working on, and this is something that I did want to kind of do a little segment on with methylation, and it gets a little complicated for you at home, so we're not gonna break down methylation in depth. But methylation is key to a healthy pregnancy. It's key to happy emotional neurotransmitter balance and sex hormone balance. But it's basically how you convert neurotransmitters and hormones and make new tissue through the process called methylation. A methyl group will attach to something else and make it something new. Right. Okay. So just,
Total Bill Nye right now.
Yeah. So just think of methylation as the physical equivalent to giving a big hug and never letting go.
See, there we go. Now I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you need, and so they've shown in lots of different animal studies how a woman during pregnancy, or in this case, a female giving birth, if she had the right methyl groups. So things like methylated folic acid, choline, magnesium, B6, B2. And if they're there in the appropriate amounts, these things are deficient in the standard American diet, what we call the SAD diet.
Yeah.
So if we make sure that there's an abundance of those actually go in and interact with the child's genes to promote the expression of the best genes that you have, because you've got a whole book and you're only reading so much of that book. And how does the body decide which part of the genes to read? Well, it has a lot to do with your environment. How does it read your environment? If nutrients are sufficient to express the best part. Right. And so it made her healthier. Yep. But they did it in rats, where they showed how they got white rats? You ever seen the white rats? Well, those rats actually, typically a lot of them come from a special kind of, I think a New Guinea rat, where they either have black rats that are very hardy, very healthy, don't get heart disease or anything like that, or they have white, which have a very short lifespan, and get dysglycemia and diabetes. Well, they took 3 different sets of rats, ones that they didn't give any methylation support to. The second one, they gave it during pregnancy only, and then third set, they gave it before they got pregnant, during pregnancy, and then after pregnancy. And they watched the health of the rats, but they wanted to see what the offspring would look like. And in the offspring that had methyl components put in pre and during pregnancy, all the rats came out black, the healthiest, hardiest. In the ones that didn't get any, that were starved of them, they all came out white.
So interesting.
And then the ones that only took methyl components during pregnancy came out half and half. And they've been able to reproduce this study. So we know that the foods that the mother chooses to eat and then the stress levels that she has during pregnancy directly impact the genetic code that's read at birth and then through the development of the child.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And we're still learning more and more about this, but I can probably share that he's been very healthy, right?
Oh, I have to say, in 7 months, knock on wood,
Right.
he's never been sick, not one time. I mean, we had a little scare, but it had nothing to do with actual sickness.
Yeah.
And other than that, nothing.
And most of the time, their first year, they're always sick.
Or something's wrong, or they just have allergies and ear infections and all this stuff. None, not one thing has happened to him. And I swear, because I'm healthy and he's his genetics are healthy.
We focused on gut health, so the right probiotics. We focused on the methyl components being there during pregnancy. We focused on the right foods, Mediterranean-based eating, which was not high protein. That was also a new adjustment for her.
Implementing more carbs.
More carbs,
it was
more
all,
fats.
I'm like, what is this?
Yes, and then executing stress management strategies on a daily basis as something you would do as almost if you went to work out, you would perform a stress management technique daily. The walks were really big.
Walks, that's towards the end of pregnancy, that's all I did.
Yeah,
was walk.
and then we also had her do workout about 3 or 4 days a week, very light, especially early on, and then it started to tailor off as she got into the later part of the pregnancy.
Yep.
Right? And then still even now, we're executing a lot of those things now, but we're also allowing her to work out certain days a week and really get her stress hormones up.
Yeah.
But so those same methyl components that were important for the child during pregnancy are actually important for her and anxiety and avoiding depression now that she's had the child.
Yep.
And that's why we're working with Bliss 4 as a product that we use that there's SAMe, methyl B vitamins, methylfolate. We're also again using a lot of adaptogens, probiotics, and vitamin D, and making sure those levels are stable. Cortisol and testosterone was so low. She has like literally
it's
zero.
It's zero.
Wow.
So in a lot of women, when they go through some stressful event, whether it's pregnancy, whether it's a bad relationship, whether it's heavy weight loss, the number one thing to go is testosterone. And then for whatever reason, it's the one thing that in a lot of cases doesn't come back.
Right.
So we're going to make sure that we get all those levels stable. I mean, testosterone is responsible for so many things about mood, energy, vitality, sexual health, sexual vitality, all those things. And so, and that also helps offshoot as estrogen comes back now that she's had the child, as it gets higher and she starts cycling again, which she did successfully starting about 2 months ago, right? You have to offshoot. Estrogen has its own message. It has to be balanced with progesterone and testosterone in order to balance it all all together. So she's doing such a wonderful job.
I know.
Oh my God.
And I'm trying to keep
You
it
just
very
tell
low.
me what to do and I'll do it.
I'm trying to keep it. I already went probably too far, but I think I did better. Am I doing better?
I mean, you go off.
I did
That's
better.
what you do, though.
I did better.
Yeah.
Did better.
But like
that's
the
good.
analogy of like the hug was good.
Okay, the hug was
Yeah.
good.
Like we can understand
Hug.
that.
Yeah. I'm like,
More
okay.
hugs.
Yeah,
I
Got
can
I
get
get
that.
it now.
Right.
I tell them all the time, I'm like, you're passionate, but like tone it down. 'Cause
Yeah.
we don't understand what you're saying.
Trying
I'm like,
to.
Yeah, we just do
that's
this.
exactly
We
what
shake
I
our
was
head
thinking.
and we're like, yep, okay, just tell me what I need to be on.
Yeah.
And we'll
Just
do it.
tell me.
So since you had a good pregnancy this time, are you wanting more kids?
It's up in the air.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's up in there.
Yeah.
If we can stabilize my health and just like continue, which I don't have a doubt about, I think for sure we'll have one more. But it's just
So-
right now, I hate saying yes because it
Yes.
makes me have anxiety.
Right,
Just
you're like, he's only 7 months.
Yeah.
But I mean, you had such a good pregnancy.
Yeah, I had
feeling
such,
this
and
way.
healthy.
Like it's not scary
I had
anymore in that way.
The pregnancy of my dreams, or
Yeah.
like my birth of my dreams, I should say.
Yeah.
So it was just, I mean, I got everything that I wanted, and
Yeah.
I think for sure we'll have one more.
And for people with autoimmune disorders, like you said, that's scary. Like
Yes.
to like you feel like you don't know how you're gonna feel when you wake up in general, and then
Yes.
be pregnant on top of that.
Yeah,
And
all
for
of
you to
them.
say you felt
Autoimmune-
great, like
autoimmune, Lyme, EBV,
Yeah.
Yep.
how they all intertwine. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're telling the story.
like when I got diagnosed, like maybe same for you. You didn't know how you were gonna wake up and how you were gonna feel.
No,
it
I
was
never
like playing
know.
Russian roulette with
I
your, with your
can
mood
make
every day.
plans and I'll
Yeah.
have to cancel them because I just, it just all depends.
Yeah.
But I feel like as we continue to work together, it's just, it's getting more and
better.
more stable.
Resiliency is the key. So because you always still will have Lyme and EBV there, it's reading you, it's waiting for you to get weak.
Right.
So if you live a lifestyle that is very strong, that builds up resiliency over time, and then she doesn't have to worry about, one day waking up and being back in that place.
Yep.
We just gotta slow down.
Slow down.
Right.
And that's like my biggest thing,
I
but
know.
I think it's been so nice.
Should we all just take a big breath?
Yeah.
Stop working out 24/7,
Uh-huh.
right? Yeah.
Which
Take
I
some
have.
walks.
I
Yeah.
have, and it's really nice.
I
That's
know.
been another like major thing is I don't work out like as nearly as much as I used to. But I do it because now like I've always enjoyed it, but it's just to maintain healthiness lifestyle now
Yeah.
instead of so extreme.
And that's what I've been really proud of you, because it becomes its own almost religion, in that you've got to go every day and pay the shrine
Yes.
working out, or you feel you less than.
I less than.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's huge.
And
yeah.
I feel amazing now on my days off.
Yeah.
I work out. I have great days when I work out, but then even on my rest days, I love it.
Yeah.
Mentally was very hard for me for a really long time.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
So
And that's a great message for all the viewers. I mean, right there. You don't have working out does not have to be your God.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Another thing too I have to say is, which has been working, especially having a baby now is that everything is over phone and text. So I get
Yes.
messages every single day because I talk about a nutrition dynamic
Yeah.
like all the time.
Yeah.
And so many people reach out to me and I don't have a doctor on me. I don't have some, and I'm like, I don't either. He lives on the other side of the United States,
Yeah.
and I said we can do everything.
Yes.
So that's huge. I feel like that's so like fortunate for me to have and other people, because it's hard to get to a doctor's office every single week or do this, do that, or go to the store and get this supplement, and it's all just done
And it's shipped to
online.
you. Well, like you said, it's like you felt like you knew her and you never even met her.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
so it's like you build that
crazy,
relationship.
like what the social media world is now too.
It's okay. You don't want to be stuck with them 20.
I know, like she is.
I'll let
You don't
you
wanna-
stick with
You don't want to actually have to see me in person. Like, you want to be able to go, okay, and then put me away.
Bye-bye.
Just
I'm gonna
listen
put
to our
'em away
car
now.
fights on the way over here.
Yeah,
You'll
wait
figure
for
that out.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice little treat.
Well, I hope the baby wakes up. Is that bad? I
Well,
hope the baby
we
wakes
got
up.
one more
No.
thing to do. Can we see him?